So welcome to another one of my chats here in Mexico. Weather is gorgeous. The sun is setting. And I'm not going to lie, I really wanted to see this light on this gorgeous shirt I've got. Look at it. Look at that. Come on. And I got to say, I absolutely loved making that thumbnail. Laughing my little face off about that thumbnail. Y'all know that I am someone who has taken every rotten thing that has happened to me in my life and turned it into something that would benefit me. And we're all going to be talking about that today. Okay. Bring you in a little bit closer. I've got the chat on the laptop. Hello once again, good to see you. It's actually windy out today. That does not happen often. But look at this. Look at all the notes I've got. And you might even get a Mexican serenade, because sometimes a band comes through here. So it'll be interesting. But today, I want to talk about alchemy. There were philosophers and chemists and mad scientists, you know, the kind of guys I'm still into to this day, who were interested in figuring out how to turn lead into gold. And when we think about that concept in a metaphoric way in our current lives, especially because, hold on, where's the camera on this one? Yeah, it's down here. Oh, right there. Okay. And especially when we think about that for our current lives, this is something that we need to do. If we cannot turn the lead of the nonsense we have been fed in this lifetime and the crazy times that we're living through in the fourth turning into gold, all will be lost. So today I'm going to talk about the ways that I have done it, some of the ways that you can do it. I'm going to talk about Carl Jung. Specifically, he referred to this process as individuation, integrating the shadow self. Right? Someone who has not integrated their shadow. Those are most of the people that we're encountering on a day-to-day basis. So let's talk about that, and also how you can profit from your miseries, from your difficulties, how every difficulty contains the seed of a solution, and that can be sold for money, yes, and also used to improve and level up your personal integrity, your strength, your spirit. So right off the bat, I love this topic. When I came to Mexico, my first apartment, I lived there for a year and a half. I got it from a woman on Facebook who was like, hey, I can get you an apartment. And I had no idea where to live. So I was like, thank you so much. I took it. And was it perfect? No. You know, I outgrew it eventually. I needed a better place for my little daughter, Maurice, the street cat. And so when I was getting ready to leave, I told them I gave my notice, and they were like, oh, Adele, we're going to miss you. We're going to this, we're going to that. But the second I was like, so when do I get my deposit back? The story changed instantly. Oh, right. And so this landlord put up this massive fight. She turned into a little cross between a pit bull and an angry 4-year-old. And the stress that this put me through was really, really intense, you know, being in another country. I was honestly going to walk away from it because I was like, this is not worth it. But then I realized that was what she wanted me to do. And I realized that many times in my life, I had done this exact thing. I had just walked away, you know, kept the upper hand, not wanted to make waves, and taken a hit to myself. And I decided I was not going to do that. And I had, you know, all of my neighbors who supported me. They're like, don't do it. You know, they didn't want her to be able to be comfortable doing that because that meant that she would do it to them too, because they would the story of that was I was just like in my new apartment, which I was able to access earlier. Much better. It turned out to be intensely haunted, but that's a whole nother story. I was like, you know, having a little breakdown, like, what am I going to do? I don't want to betray myself by just walking away from this, but I'm just so exhausted and worn out. However, I think that's what she wanted, and I was like just going back and forth in my mind, and suddenly this clarity kind of came through for me, and I was like, I will profit from this. And I want you to think of this. Anytime you go through some difficult or ridiculous thing, or you have some problem in your life, I will profit from this. You will either profit financially because you're going to find a solution and then find a way to bring it to the people who need it most because you've become an expert on living through and overcoming this problem, or you will profit from it by the process of alchemy, by turning lead, which signifies difficulties, rotten, terrible nonsense things in your life, and turning them into gold, which is strength of character, learning the power of your will, gaining abilities and insights, gaining respect and dignity for yourself. Right? That was like the main reason I couldn't walk away. I was like, fuck this woman and her $250. But then I was looking at like the stuff I wanted for my cat, and I'm like, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to buy it. It's like too much money. And I'm like, that rent money would buy it, or that deposit money would buy it. So I'm like, I'm going to get that back. And then my neighbors turned up to help me. So yeah. All right, let me head into the chat. I see we've got some people here. It's so good to see you all. I am trying to make all of this work. My little setup. Who have we got? We have got Ann Sampson. You've got it. We need to know when to walk and when to fight. Exactly. It's hard to know. Yeah. I agree with that. Nicole Victory. Hey, you caught the live. Congrats. Good job. If you guys have notifications on and you are subscribed, they will send you a text to your phone. They will send you an email so you can be like, ooh, and pop on. But usually I kind of like to come on here on Sunday evenings when it's so quiet, guys. I feel like a parent whose kids are on summer vacation or something, or no, like at summer camp. Because and this happens like every holiday season here in Mexico, like the people go away to visit their families and then finally have peace and quiet. And I feel like I'm home alone. It's just so wonderful. And I also have this like impending sense of dread, like when are they coming back? Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, they are. Ooh, you got 20K saved. Yeah, give me an email. I'm gonna help you. I could help you spend that. I'm just joking around. I do not give people financial advice because I have made some good gains for myself in the past, but I have like flopped and lost and done dumb things too. So there's no way I'm taking responsibility for that. Of course, my advice is to put that into training yourself, put that into therapy, physical training, things to improve yourself, your vessel to get forward in life. Please go ahead, hit that like button, hit the heart button, tap that screen, tap that screen. All right, you're at the park right now, Nicole. I love it. You watched my last video and you're inspired. Oh my God, I inspired someone to take a walk. I am so excited. Thank you for telling me that. Like, those are the kind of things that I like. I get messages from people who are like, you inspired, like I started a business and now my family and this and that. But like if people are just like, hey girl, I went for a walk outside, I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome too. All right. Yeah, like, sometimes like when I feel the absolute friggin' worst, or if I'm feeling like really, really grumpy, honestly, sometimes I will let myself just stay inside and hibernate. But usually if I can get outside and get some sun on my skin and see a bird in the tree and touch some leaves and pick a flower I just can't stay in a bad mood. Like on my Crash Out channel last night, I went for a walk at night and I was filming while I was walking. And I wanted to go on and complain. But within the first like 30 seconds, I opened the door and stepped outside. And I'm like, oh my God, the moon looks so beautiful. There's a star out, you know, and it would look like the moon was out, but there were some pink clouds still. It was like the pink, and then the sky was blue, and there was like one single star, and I'm like, oh my God, that was what I loved the most in Montana, man. Oh my God, you need to see those skies at night. And you know, I can still see some of the same stars here in Mexico, and that's one thing, I really love the stars at night in Canada and in Montana. All right, so yeah, the landlord book, that's my book. I turned that whole story with that rotten landlord and all that stress she caused me into my ebook, At Midnight in Mexico, because I know a lot of people deal with this problem, and thankfully I had many, I did have many people come together to help me during that time, but I had some Canadian girlfriends who were like, girl, this is just a rite of passage. Like, it's happened to me many times before. Like, the landlord was super nice, and I did everything right, and then at the end she just turned crazy, and you just have to accept it. And I was like, no. Like, on principle alone, I can't. Yeah. So, I mean, even if honestly, if she had come to me and said, you know what, I do not want to give you your deposit back because of all the extra work I did to like help you come here and like to speak English with you and everything else. So I'm going to take, like, I want to cut it. What do you think? Or like, just like was honest with me, or like, you know, it's fair for me to keep this deposit because like you're making dollars and not pesos, and you know, it's more fair to the local economy. If she told me something instead of just trying to be like, I'm gonna make you do it, like, oh, then you're gonna get a fight from me on that. And I don't fight in that same way. I'm not gonna be disturbed. I'm gonna fight with my social game. She didn't realize that I knew every single person in that building, and that I knew enough Spanish to speak with them and develop relationships with them. So when she first tried to lie to me about it, I was like, oh, let me talk to Ricardo about that and get back to you. And she's like, oh, no, don't do it. It was like, the whole thing was really funny. I detailed it all in my Midnight in Mexico book. There were like many other things that happened here that were just like a massive like sledgehammer that I had to overcome. Unexpected, terrible things. And I overcame it every time. It's kind of like the parable of the donkey in the well. A man had a donkey. He was like, this donkey cannot bake bread, so I'm throwing it away. And he went and put this donkey at the bottom of a well. Go ahead and die, donkey. Well, he knows that the donkey was not dying. This donkey had some kind of will to live. So this man decided, okay, I'm going to throw some rocks in there. And he started throwing these rocks in. And the donkey would sidestep the rocks each time. And eventually the rocks began piling up, and the donkey would step on, and eventually he stepped on that final rock, got out of the well, and ran away, and had a wonderful life in the woods, eating twigs and berries and leaves and shoots and roots all day long, and drinking from the stream. That's what happened. And that's what we got to do with our life. Like, look what else I did. I took the worst racial experiences I've ever experienced. And by the way, unfortunately, I have 3 more books in me. I just took the ones that I felt most inspired, or the ones that were like pretty heinous, and I put them into my book. I thought I was white. I made an audiobook of that, profited off of that. Helped a lot of people. Shared my story and felt vindicated. There's something so triumphant about that. If you can take your difficult story, turn it into knowledge, and share it. It's like the Mary Oliver quote, keys for living a life. Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. That's all you have to do in this life. You have to find some, kind of something to live by. And I live by Mary Oliver. Pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it. That's what I do. And it also reminded me of this Louise Hay quote, where she basically says that everything is working out for my good. Every single thing in life is for the benefit of myself and my growth and my spirituality. It's for the benefit of all. And, you know, there are some aspects of these kind of quotes and stuff like that. Can you hear those birds? There's a hummingbird. Y'all, there's a hummingbird that came in. Like, I have the balcony door pretty well open here. It came in, looked around inside the place, and then came back out. And I was like, what was that? And I have to tell you, there is some kind of strange consciousness in the birds and the bees here and the insects. So when I was living out in the countryside in Mexico, I had some kind of weird, I knew about the insects. I felt them. I feel so weird talking about this. But yeah, I did. I saw mantis at night on the house. I used to like going out there at night with no shoes on, just like looking around and listening. It was so cool. There were frogs. I stopped doing that when I saw this really cool caterpillar. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was like black and had a band of like bright red. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? I took a picture of it. I knew a guy out here, a biologist, whose entire life is just studying like axolotls and like weird creatures. Like that's all he does for a living. I'm like, holy shit, that's so cool. So I sent him this picture. I'm like, look at this cool bug. And he's like, oh yeah, that's so cool. And he sent me the name and I looked it up and it's like, this creature has the second most painful sting in the entire world. And I was like, oh, I'm not wearing my shoes out there now. I'm not going out there with no shoes anymore. It's hard to miss. You can't miss that thing, but like, oh my God. Yeah, and the bees here are so weird. I don't know how to tell you how they are so damn weird. They're huge, first of all. Like when I saw them and you hear them, they sound like a helicopter and they are big. Like I'm so serious. They are so big. And even the other day, this happened to me again. Like you can see it in the video where I talked about having a shallow goal. I'm like, oh, there's a bee. They literally come up to me and they hover right here and look at me. And I can feel them like appraising me, greeting me, looking at me, being curious about me. And then they just leave. Like you would think they're being aggressive, like trying to keep me away, but like I don't get that vibe. And I had these horrible red wasps, these gigantic red wasps in the old house the house I lived at in the country in Mexico. And they did the same thing. I would walk across like the grass and I would head over close to like where they were building their nest, and one of them just came right out and he went up to me in chest level and just hovered there looking at me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I turned around and left. I got the message that he was just coming to check me out and look at me, but it was also like, you know, a mild warning, which I understood. See, I need to be making an animal telepathy course for $500,000. Let's have a look here. Weird stories. People don't like being scoffed at. Yeah, unfortunately for them, I couldn't care less. I've been sharing my content online for 20 years. I've said and done some crazy things, and I absolutely love it. Yeah. I will profit from that too. Bad press is profitable. Look at my example that I always love to bring up, which was, oh gosh, who was that girl? Nicole Arbor. Remember she made those videos? Dear fat people, dear black people. This girl is out there just trying to inflame everybody and, you know, clickbait them. She did well for herself. I don't really recommend that kind of thing anymore. It's not really my style unless I really feel something, which is kind of ironic that I'm saying this now, because I was just thinking today that I'm going to make a video about vegans and their mental illness. So yeah, that's a little bit trolling, isn't it? So the things that I profited from financially have been all based on problems. Racism, difficulty with landlords, trauma. I even profited from profit. I told people about how I was making money online. So, and as I'm saying this, I'm like, what do people watch that's not about problems in some way? And I was like, oh, it reminded me of someone who does make content that is not about problems. And that is this Chinese creator called Li Ziqi. It's spelled Liziqui, Li Ziqi. And her videos are just like about life in old school China. And it's like about making, rose jam from petals that she picks. And same thing with like Yona Yinton. Her videos are wildly popular, but they're not about problems. They're about the beautiful life out in, Iceland where she lives? I'm not sure. But she also talks about difficulties that she has and stuff like that. But yeah, one thing that I have a gift for is turning these difficulties, this lead of life, into gold. So, when it comes to Carl Jung, he referred to this process of alchemy, of turning the lead of life into the gold of the spirit, as individuation and integrating the shadow self. And he broke it down as occurring in 3 phases, like a chemical reaction. And by the way, when these philosophers were working on turning the gold into lead, and yes, I am attempting to show off my nails on purpose, like I just love them so much. I really wanted shiny black nails, and I got them. They're kind of fun, and they feel a little bit edgy, but like I'm probably gonna go back to my little ballet slipper pink event. I'm gonna go back to the pink, probably. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so when they were trying to turn the lead into the gold, what do you think they did? Do you think they bathed it very carefully and brushed its hair and put it on a pedestal and gave it compliments and gave it an easy life and hoping that it would turn into gold? They put it through the worst processes you could imagine. They broke it down with chemicals. They beat it with hammers. They put it in ovens. They did all kinds of crazy things. I have some neighbors returning now. They're across the way. I'm so disappointed. We'll see what happens. But they put this lead through some terrible alchemical processes. And this is what life does to us. Hello, nice to see you. This is what life does to us. And you know what? I think in an ideal world, and I do think it's also possible, that we can level up, we can learn lessons, we can develop strength of character through positive means. We can develop strength of character through, hello, good to see you, through, loving experiences in community. We can build ourselves up, not by being broken down by life, but by lifting weights and breaking down our muscles intentionally, right? This can happen. It's just very rare for most people. Most people come here and they get put through the ringer of life, right? And I would just say, don't let that lead go to waste. If these philosophers were sitting around, they're like, we need some gold. They need the lead first. They need the lead first. The lead is like the bad stuff. The lead is the stuff I put in the thumbnail, the bankruptcy, the divorce, the job loss, the grief, the weight gain, whatever it is. I want you to look at that as lead that you can use to make gold. Even, the concept of like weight gain. I know a lot of people are feeling pretty rotten about themselves at this time of year. It's totally natural. We're still in a period of hibernation. Humans are mammals, so it's completely natural. But you essentially have got excess energy. You have got excess calories, which can be energy. You can burn those off into the energy of something magical and beneficial. And you can think of them as excess particles and atoms that will contribute to your life. I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of this that we're learning, alchemy of the spirit, is about managing energy well. And Carl Jung, he talked about this chemical process of the spirit as occurring in 3 phases, kind of like another chemical process. And those are the nigredo, the albedo, and the rubredo. Okay, so this is the black, the white, and the red, and this is so exciting and fun. So the nigredo phase of your life, and by the way, you can go through these phases over and over again. I don't think many people reach the red phase. We're going to talk about that. So the black phase, this is when we have chaos, destruction, despair. I know, so like this despair is so intense in everyone all around the world, even in Mexico. Like in my mind, I was like, oh, this is a Canada thing. And then I was like, oh, this is US thing. And then like, I get calls like that woman who I talked to about, and she told me about the pet thing or whatever. She's from Japan. She told me that the same thing's kind of going on there. Like everybody is just kind of like feeling it, right? We're all humans. We're all part of this human family. We're all cells in the body of planet Earth. And the environment is very toxic. And we're all feeling this deep, intense despair. So during this time, the nigredo, the black phase of your chemical transformation, this is when you feel, I guess, a lot of that pain. You have a lot of difficulties. And then what comes after is the albedo. That means white. This is the white phase. That's where you're filled with cleansing, clarity, forgiveness, reflection. And this phase can come with a lot of pain as well, man. Like, I feel like I have been going through that. I feel like I've been dipping in and out of all 3 of these chemical phases over the past couple of years, when I'm like, oh, I have clarity on this now. And then just the shock. It's like the calls come from inside the house. It's like the movie The Others. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites. It's so scary and so good. And to me, it's like, it's a metaphor for the mental process of awakening. I know it sounds crazy. But you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, like that video I made about my brother, where I'm like, oh my God, this whole time I was talking about how my brother was brainwashed as the golden child to believe that all the problems in the family were were my fault. It was not the problem of our abusive mother. It was not the problem of our absent father. No, it was Adelle's fault. And so I was aware of that. I was aware that they were brainwashed to that. But I wasn't aware that I was also brainwashed that he was the golden child. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, my brother is so amazing. He's like, I always want to help him. I always want this and to do that, and blah, 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 blah. But then I stopped. I'm making that video, and I'm like, what the hell? He just made a video talking about how my trauma was so inconvenient for him, and that's the only thing he remembers about us from childhood. And here I am, like, praising him to the gods, and I'm like, what has he ever actually done for me? Or like, what kind of thing has he ever said or done or whatever? And like, of course there are like a couple of little things, but like, I mean, by a landslide, it was me. And partially, it was because I felt like I had to make up for something, because I believed the scapegoat nonsense as well. So when we do this work and we don't run from difficult emotions and difficult conversations with ourselves, and sometimes with others. My brother is not someone that I think I should be having conversations with. I've decided this. People from my past who have not gone for therapy for at least a year, and men who have extremely difficult and traumatic childhoods like my ex-husband did, who have not gone for therapy for at least a year, they're not safe for me to interact with for reasons just like this. The mindset that created the trauma is still running their life. And they need an outside influence and professional help to get through it. So we are, and maybe that will lead to the albedo stage for them, where they have cleansing, clarity, forgiveness, and reflection. And then after that, when you've gone through the darkness, you went into the light, you hit the red phase. Ooh, I just love that color red. I love the idea of this. So the red phase, the vibrato, that comes with wholeness, mastery, integration, enlightenment. So these are the people, and by the way, this doesn't mean that, enlightenment is a continual process. Enlightenment is a spectrum. It's not a destination. Until it's lights out for you. Maybe that will be instant enlightenment, who knows. And I think about this, even just imagining what might your vibrato stage look like. What would you being in your mastery potentially look like? And for me, showing up here, being able to give an impromptu talk that's deep, interesting, and engaging, it's going to require practice. And I feel like I'm getting better at it. But I never really because I was so stuck in the black and the white phases, I never really had a chance to develop the red phase. And here, now I'm in my 40s, I'm finding this is the time for me to move into that space and to be doing the things that I really want and to be leaning into my voice as a creator, as a leader, as a visionary. I'm sorting that out still, while still mostly dabbling in the black and the white, which we also see in the samsara wheel, right? The black rises and then it hits the white, and then the white hits the black and it turns black. It's this constant ongoing thing. The wheel of samsara. So which phase do you feel you are in your life right now? Leave me an emoji that matches that color. A white, a red, or a black. What would you say, yeah. Let me go put my emoji in the chat. I feel like my emoji would be, let's see, where I am right now would be, I'm gonna go find the one that I want. There it is. That's mine. Oh, look, they put a little crown by my name. How cute. I think you can get those if you have membership on my site. All right. She says, when you travel to certain countries, there's a bug kingdom issue. New Zealand, yeah. I heard this about Australia. I was like, yeah. There are spiders that will cover your entire window when you open it in the morning. So I was like, mental no, I don't need to go there. But then also their reaction during 2020, I was definitely like, New Zealand and Australia are a no-go for me. All right. So So where are you tuning in from? What was your weekend like? We have got about 20 minutes left to make up an hour. I may just go and grab my Walden book, which we can look at as well. That will be nice. I hope my top is, I need to move so that it is sparkling. What would mastery look like? For me, I think it would also be about my writing. It would be about my videos. You know, I don't have any, what's the word, qualms about looking at advice from younger or less experienced YouTubers. Like, I know that I'm an OG. I'm an old school person. Like, I am the fax machine of YouTube. Like, I need to keep my skills up to date. And I never think that I know so much about anything that I don't need to learn. Like, I'm constantly learning, you know, especially since, like, making a comeback here on YouTube can be very challenging. But I know how to play the YouTube game. It's a long game. So when you get, like, you know, not that many views or whatever, you just have to stick with it. And eventually you'll have that one video that will break out and run away, and the whole thing will pick up like a wildfire. And then you'll hit that algorithm again. And the key is to not freak out and to not get too nervous that you just like, oh, getting overwhelmed, almost like lots of comments. And when you get lots of comments, you start getting lots of haters that you didn't have before. That doesn't really bother me. But yeah, it's like, yeah. I was watching Doe Dash the other day, and she said something, and I was like, oh my God, that's so true. And it was, be careful what you go viral for, because then those people are going to want to hear about that all the time. She's like, if you go viral for doing a backflip in a video, well, these people who subscribe to you and all these crazy subscribers or whatever that you got, they're going to want to come on your channel seeing you doing a backflip every single day. And I was like, you know, that's totally true. Like, I recognize that. Every time I post a video now, I lose subscribers, like a couple subscribers. I'm not gaining them. And yeah, I think it's because, you know, my audience is, I had many people who started watching me because I was the how to make money on YouTube girl. But there are like many people who stayed for my other videos, and they're able to pick up more context. They're able to relate to me in other ways, and they really saw that value there. And so I'm really grateful for those people who stick around. And I kind of have to work now on doing what I want, on what I can commit to, because I cannot commit to coming out here and being like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to X, Y, and Z on YouTube. Like, that was like 12 years ago. And I've changed quite a lot since then. The topics that I'm interested in, the things that I believe, the kind of person that I am. I know there are some YouTubers who have not changed all that much. They're still talking about the same thing. Teal Swan, Freely the Banana Girl. And I guess for me, essentially, I am still talking about the same things. I literally think about making money on the internet every single day. Do you hear what I'm saying? Not a single day has gone by since 2012 where I haven't had a thought or researched something or made something in regards to making money on the internet. And that's how I still get to live in a country where I can't get a normal job, by internet profits with very little effort. But oh my gosh, can you see that it's raining? It's raining black snowflakes. Can you see them? I thought it was so romantic when I first came here and I held my hand out and I got a little black snowflake on my hand and I saw the volcano in the distance and I was like, wow, it's so romantic. But then I found out that it's actually just like ashes from them burning the sugarcane fields. Wah, wah. The sunset is so nice. Maybe I will show you the sunset and all of the black ash raining down. And yeah, that'll be it. And you got some of these girls on here. You got Leslie Ann. She's doing these lives for 3 hours. Girl, how are you sitting there talking for? Oh, you know what? I went onto one of her lives and she had some, oh gosh, what do you call them? She had some printed out some like very basic questions and she was using them to engage her audience. And I was like, okay, that's very creative. I liked it. I liked the feel of it. It was like kind of fun, but I was like, I would be bored to death. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and ask you guys like, what do you prefer, to watch a movie at home, go to a cinema, or use Netflix? And how do you like to spend your weekends? Adventuring, relaxing, or being productive? Like, ooh. Look what we got. Look at what we got. Look at what we got. Tap that screen. Tap that screen. Look at you. Look at you. Panterita. So beautiful. So beautiful. Well, now she's like, you know what? F this. I should not have come out here. It's Maurice. Maurice. Maurice, se están comiendo los gatos. Hey, Miriam. You got to see Maurice. We had such a great chat here. You missed it. But you can watch it back. It's kind of cool that I have my laptop here, actually. Let me see what we can do that's fun. By the way, I'm going to mention now my book, The Fall of the Clickbait Queen. The pre-sale is available now. This book is so juicy. This book picks up where I never really got into detail. Remember, I was living in the mountains and I was like, hey guys, let me show you my updated YouTube paycheck. Are the ashes. Oof. I don't know, I might have to go inside. Oh, I've got really good tea for my throat. I've got also some ginger with some honey and lemon. Like, oh, that's a real treat. A little bit of hot water. Maurice. Oh God, it's so nice. My neighbors are gone, and I guess they brought their dogs. Like that's my Christmas present. I noticed that like a bunch of these creators are copying each other's titles and thumbnails. And it's like, at first I was getting kind of pissed off, and I'm like, all right, if this is what the game is now. So there's these guys who have these videos. This first guy made this video. It's called "Don't Leave Your Job. Life is Not a Joke." And it shows him like this in the thumbnail. 300,000 views. And this guy, and it's weird because I can look at these people and I can tell, I'm like, this is a small creator. Right away I can tell just by looking at it. And now he's up to 50K. When he made that video, I think he had like 3 or 4K. And so now we have another guy who posted this 5 days ago. And it doesn't say don't leave your job. It says don't quit your job. Life is not a joke. And it's a picture of him in the car, and it looks like this. Where he's driving. So yeah, y'all, I'm gonna be making a video saying don't quit or leave your job because life is not a joke. And I'm gonna be going in the thumbnail. They've all been doing this. They've all been doing the same damn thumbnails and titles. It reminds me of how I started that trend. Oh my gosh, I started the trend where I was like, I'm going to show you how much I make on YouTube. And it had like the little AdSense with the Google envelope. And everybody started copying it. Look how much I made on YouTube. I got my first YouTube paycheck showing the Google envelope. And it was just like, you know, for the thumbnail. When the money comes in the mail from Google, it's actually in a plain, nondescript envelope. So they were all copying me. Like, very funny. All right. Let's close that out. I like having my laptop here. This feels like some kind of a hack. And you know, that's one thing. You guys could see the searches that I have right now. You would just freak out laughing. The stuff that I search on the internet is so funny. Oh my god. Wait till you guys see my next move. You're going to be so shocked. When the others started doing it, you're way ahead. I don't really remember. It's really, like, I really was not paying attention to anybody at that time. Yeah, you're right. I was ahead. Nobody else was really kind of doing that back then. Then they all just like jumped on it. And then you had those guys that jump cuts. They're like, how to make money on YouTube, internet course, $2,000. And I'm like, oh my God, I missed out. But honestly, like, I don't know, just thinking of that, I just don't want to do it. I can't force myself to do things just for money if I'm like not that interested or whatever. And maybe that is a detriment, but it is what it is. Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier in this video, which you should definitely go watch when you get a chance, Alchemy was about turning the negatives of life into the gold of the spirit, or gold, physical gold, that you could profit from. And one of the mythical elements was the philosopher's stone. And this was talked about, it's like very, very mysterious. It was talked about in historical texts, but it had like a mythical and an alchemical aspect to it. Like, it wasn't an actual object. Of course, like, you know, I love sparkly things. I love mystical stones. Like, I actually thought about that. I'm like, there's some guys out here who like sell stones from Mexico, and like opals, and the guys in Tanzania, they're selling tanzanites, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to do that. I just want to look at them and shine them and put them on cameras all day long. But I don't know, I feel like I have an excuse for everything, but I do feel like that would involve like child slave labor. So yeah, I'm not at that point in my life. I'm going to show you all the sunset. And yeah, we're gonna head out. Happy New Year! Good to see you again. I like how you addressed the room. That's so cute. This talk was so good. I hope you get a chance to go back and watch it. And we're gonna head out with perfect timing. I'm gonna show you the sunset, and I might hit mute on this if that little hell demon continues on, which it probably will. By the way, they got another one. You hear that? That little horrible creature? They got another one for Christmas. So they got 2 of them with the high-pitched rat bark. Hello, good to see you. Oh, the sunset's almost gone. Let me show you it. Okay, let's see. I'm going to be very careful. Oh, you can't see it. It's like it's right there, but it just looks white on camera. How about over here? Let me see the pink. Nope. I see Maurice. She might run because she hates being on camera. Oh, what happened to your ear, Macy? What happened to your ear? Look at her ear. What did you do? Want to fix it? Can I fix it? Okay. I'm gonna fix your ear. There you go. You see the sunset now? Oh, there you go. Oh, the heat was so nice today. Oh my God, it was so nice. And you know, sometimes I feel really mad and I feel frustrated and I feel despair and I feel irritated and I'm like, I don't want to leave. I just wish people would change. Look at me, see? Now we know that's ridiculous, right? And that reminds me that, like, of, I saw this talk from Julia Chaw. And she was talking about how women who have dysfunctional relationships also have dysfunctional relationships with money, and therefore it doesn't serve them well. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. And I was like, the way you do, like the problems that you have in relationships can relate to all the problems that you have in your life. Like for me, to be thinking like that shows you, you know, like a relationship pattern that I had, which is like, I like it here. I don't want to leave. You need to change and behave because I've observed some things about you that I don't like. So just fix it and I won't leave. How did that work out? Now I'm trying to do that with Mexico. Can you all just like control your dogs and other things, you know? And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to accept people, places, and situations for how they are and put yourself in places that will work better for you. And this is not working for me anymore, y'all. Although I just am enjoying this beautiful sun every day and my friends that I have here and the delicious fruits. Although we're like not having a very good harvest this year. Like there weren't even mangoes for very long. How heartbreaking is that? And like I couldn't even find any pomegranates, you know, and I couldn't even find any rambutans and I couldn't find any lychee nuts. And there wasn't even a big season for watermelon. So, you know, I'm kind of sad. The papayas weren't that good. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of signs that it's time for me to go and maybe to focus on some things that are more important to me. Like as I'm talking, I'm like, this would be a really awesome course on using your relationship patterns, seeing how they apply to your life and healing your relationship attachment styles and problems in order to work, you know, on different areas of your life. Like I think people are like, you need to go to therapy for 65 years to fix that. And I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. I know people who are literally in their 70s. I used to take courses with them. I took courses with them in London. I took courses with them in Los Angeles. They were in their 70s, crying on their phone with their boyfriend, having a breakdown about their mom's bad behavior, everything else. Some of these people were literally like therapists themselves, and they've been in therapy for decades and they still have these damn problems. So I'm going to try and solve it with other things that I know. Something needs to happen, and it needs to happen fast. It can't be, you need to do this for 6,000 decades. Like, that's not acceptable. I'm sorry. This problem took you 4 decades to create. Do you think it just goes away overnight? I mean, no, but it could. And we deserve it. We've suffered enough. And the benefit that comes from us solving these problems quickly, so we are not a delicious source of food for evil beings who feed off of negative energy, is for the good of all. I know it can happen, so I'm working on it. Anyway, it's actually starting to get a little bit chilly, and Missy, we're gonna head inside. Say goodbye. She's like, fuck you. I told you she hates the camera. All right. Oh my gosh, this sunset is so gorgeous. It looks like all of the perfume bottles that I used to look at when I lived in Canada and I worked at Shoppers Drug Mart in the beauty department, and there was like these bottles that was like Malibu Sunset, and like all these like tropical ass names, and I would look at the colors and I'm like, oh, I wish I lived there. I can't believe I live here. And I finally did it. I got out. But now I need to move on. Just like I did from Montana. I had to accept this is the dream that I want, but I cannot change other people. So I need to leave. And I saw your comment about Arizona. I don't know what to say. I don't have it. Like, honestly, I loved Arizona. I love the desert in the US. So I think you're lucky to live there. But if you're talking about like having racist problems there, like, I'm really sorry to hear about that. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, you just got to see, like, can you live in a different circle inside of that? You know, and limit the people that you interact with, because people are insane, right? We know this, and they're getting more and more insane due to the events of the past couple of years. So, yeah. Are you single? Do you have children? I am looking to put together something. I want to do something for people who are lonely, isolated, live alone, single, and don't have children, for us to live together and support each other and get out of North America. So yeah, leave me your details, send me a message, email, whatever, if you might want to join in. I've got a place that I want to go. I'm looking into it further in detail now, but maybe it might work. All right, we made it to an hour. I guess I'm no Leslie Ann, y'all. The weather is beautiful and the topography is diverse. Oh, Missy, you look so cute. Maurice. I love when her ears just twitch. She's like, yeah, I heard you, but I don't want to turn around. She's watching something. Hi, Missy. What happened? You're looking so cute. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Night.